Namaste. And today I am offering the teachings of the full yogic breath from the high Himalayan mountains of northern India. I'm just north of Almora, and if it was a clear day, you could see the snow-capped Himalayan mountains, but there's a lot of clouds right now. So it's lovely to offer you this. What I've noticed as being a facilitator of yoga teacher trainings for so long, even though somebody practices yoga, they may not breathe properly. And what happens is when we have a certain thought that doesn't feel good, it might be fearful, worry, doubt, that influences the sympathetic nervous system, and in turn it restricts our breathing. So when we're more relaxed, we're on the beach, we don't have any responsibilities or anything to do, we can maybe be in that place of the parasympathetic nervous system where it's rest and relax. And in this time we're in the world, everything seems to be accelerating. Everything is instant. We can talk to someone instantly, and so the work can go faster and everything gets pushed faster. So that's good for technology, but in regards to our own body, it's really important to slow down, bring the reins down, pull the reins back, and calm down, have full breaths. What I notice mainly is that this lower region of the lungs is absent. And when you think about what is held here for us, well, we got the reproductive organs, we got the digestive system. So if there's not oxygen, if you want to look at it in the physical aspect, and then also in the subtle aspect, there is the prana. If it's not going there, it's not flowing there. And then it can create problems. So one of the greatest practices for any kind of reproductive problems for a man or a woman is just having this full yogic breath. So the breath is something that can bring us in the present moment. It can also bring us out of our mind. And what I'm going to teach right now is the full yogic breath, and I'm going to subdivide it into 3 chambers: the base, the middle, and the top. And then we'll marry that practice together. And that's the practice that I invite you to bring into your daily practice, in your daily life. If you don't have time for a practice, you're breathing all the time. So you have many opportunities throughout the day to just trigger this. Okay, I'm going to breathe deep. Okay. In doing so, there's also some social conditioning. Don't let your belly out. Look skinnier than you already are, like this. So for some, it's a psychological mindset that they have to change. And the more that you accept all you are, you love yourself, the more that does not matter, because really we're not our body anyways. So let's begin. You can be on the ground, seated in this pose is called Sukhasana. It's just an easy cross-legged pose. Or you can be on a chair. And if you're on a chair, make sure that you're comfortable and that you're not arching your back too much, that your navel is in, and you want the belly to be above the pelvis, the chest above the pelvis, and the head above the chest. We can bring our hands into a mudra, the index fingers and the thumb together, and palms down or palms up, and this helps contain the energy in the body. And let's first begin to notice, where are you at in your breathing? Now I invite you to close your eyes, and it might have brought some anxiety. Oh my God, now I got to look at the way I'm breathing. Let's just take a deep breath and release it all out with a sigh. Whatever feels overwhelming for you in your life right now, breathe into that. Take a deep breath in and then retain the breath for 3 seconds. And then allow an audible sigh, like you're melting it out. One last time. Whatever feels overwhelming, breathe into that. Retain the breath for 3 seconds. And then as you exhale, a more audible sigh that just melts out from your body and mind. And as the eyes are closed, the chest is lifted and the shoulders are back. And you want to feel the earth underneath you if you're on the ground. So how to do that properly is come a little forward, go a little back, and our gauge will be the sits bones, the pointy bones that's in the buttocks. And you feel them equally distributed on the earth underneath you. And if you are on a chair, you would do the same. So finding your center. Then as your eyes are closed, just begin a full breath. What does that mean for you? How does that feel for you? Keeping the chest lifted and the shoulders back. Begin to notice where the breath is moving into, which spaces it's moving into, which part of the body. And finish your breath. And we'll begin to isolate now the lower lobes of the lungs. And before we do so, I just want to invite you to really invoke compassion for where you're at. Because each moment is different. And how you're breathing at this moment is going to change from moment to moment. So accepting where you're at and then making improvements, because our mind is always changing, our thoughts are always moving, and it's always affecting our breath. If anyone is stressed, it affects the breath. And we all feel stress sometime in our life. So bring the hands onto the abdomen. And bring the middle fingers together, sitting up nice and tall. And I'm going to imagine that there's a tube that I'm breathing in the lower lobes of my lungs. Even though it appears that I'm breathing in my abdomen, it's the lower lobes of my lungs. There's a flat muscle that separates the heart and the lungs and the internal organs, and it's called the diaphragm. It's the main muscle used for breathing. And it's like an umbrella. As I breathe in, it goes down and it bulges out my internal organs. And then as I exhale, it comes back up and my navel comes back in. So what we're wanting and we're looking for proper breathing is the abdomen to expand out like a balloon. And it's not just in the front, but we're just starting at this area. So that's why I'm inviting you to think about a tube that you're breathing into, like a tire tube. Okay, middle fingers together. And just notice what happens what happens to my fingers. They spread apart. And then I'm going to pause. And then as I exhale, drawing the navel in. So try that with me. Bring your hands together, middle fingers on the lower abdomen. And again, we're not wanting the breath to come up in the chest or in the thoracic region. We want to isolate it. Yeah? So let's breathe in together. Count how many seconds it takes you to fill up your lungs. How about we say 3 seconds to fill up the lower lobes of the lungs, and then we retain for anywhere between 1 and 3 seconds. And then continue the practice. This time, bring your hands to the side and notice what it feels like. Keeping the chest lifted and the shoulders relaxed. And now, just like we did in the front, where we put the middle fingers together on the belly, we'll do that on the back. So the middle fingers are touching on the back. You should feel them spread out. Not as obvious, not as strong as it was in the front. Oh, look at the sun is blessing us. It's important to really count how many times you breathe in, so you have a gauge on making progression with your breathing practice. We're always breathing in and out the nose because it brings in more oxygen through the receptors that are lined in the hairs, in our nose hairs. The oxygen goes through the nose into the olfactory bulbs and into the central nervous system. And then it goes down the channel of the spine and the sushumna and the chakras and the organs. So now that we've tried it in 3 different places, find the place that you want to place your hands that you most prefer. And let's just go 3 long, deep breaths here. And listening to your own rhythm. It's not that you have to go exactly like my rhythm. Begin when you're ready. When you've completed your 3rd round, bring your hands back into the mudras and just observe, how does it feel? Where do you feel it? What thoughts are arising or emotions? And slowly let that go, and we'll come to the 2nd chamber of the lungs. The 2nd chamber is known as the thoracic region, and this is where we start for some, it might be a new relationship with these muscles, the intercostal muscles, because we're going to do the same thing. We're going to bring our hands together, and as our hands come together, only the middle part is moving, and now that's going to spread the hands apart. Let's see if we can do this. So again, the middle fingers come together. I'm sitting up nice and tall, and as I inhale, my rib cage spans out, and it brings apart my fingers like the wings. My wings open, my wings shut. And this might be difficult. I remember when I first started, I was wondering, what are they talking about? Where are these muscles? How come I can't control these muscles? So maybe that's not for you. But wherever it is, whatever it is, if it isn't that if you are having a trouble with this, my suggestion is that you lie down. I'll give you a brief demonstration. Lie down with your feet parallel, knees apart, and then place your hands on the intercostals this way. It's easier to begin this practice lying down. So that's what I would suggest if there is some challenge. Okay. So it's the same practice. We want to have an understanding of how long are we able to do the practice, and that's done through counting. So let's give 3 seconds. Let's see if we can breathe into the thoracic region in the middle chamber for 3 seconds, hold it for 3 seconds, and then exhale for however long you exhale. Count, find out. Okay, when you're ready. Breathing in. And just keep repeating that. Again, we're just isolating the middle part. Do it for 3 more times. If it feels uncomfortable for you, if you're a woman and you have rather large breasts, it might feel more comfortable to place your hands in the back. Just mirror the same position here. And your fingers spread out. Two more times. When you are finished, place your hands onto your knees. Close the eyes and just go inside and just notice how you feel in the middle part of your torso, the thoracic region. And then gently open your eyes, and we're going to place our hands on the top region. So most people don't need help on the top. What happens though, it's something that's quite common, is that people's shoulders will come up. And when you watch a baby breathe, they're great teachers because they know how to breathe properly, especially babies. And it can change after a year depending on their environment they're in. Their shoulders don't move, So there's a muscle here called the sternocleidomastoid, and it's not a muscle to use for breathing. Yet, and I'll demonstrate with the shoulders rising, this will create tension in the neck. And so becoming aware of what muscles are used. So you want to use the intercostal muscles that are here. And it doesn't raise the shoulders up. So now I will demonstrate that. So if you, and this is something that I have experienced myself, not unaware of my breathing habits. This is so great about a teacher training. We always have people looking at you. You either partner up or the teachers are looking at you to help correct your breathing. And for many years I was breathing like this, the chest, the shoulders coming up. So I really want to bring that to your awareness, like, how much are my shoulders rising up? So it's really hard to isolate just the top. So just bring the awareness on the inhalation into the top lobes of the lungs. You might bring it on your shoulders to see if they rise, or you might bring it just underneath the clavicle, as you like. Let's take 3 deep breaths here and close the eyes, keep the shoulders lifted, and just notice how your breathing is here. Let's let that go, the practice go when you're finished your 3 breaths. I kind of hurried a little bit on that because many people don't need so much practice on that as they do bringing the 3 practices together. So that's what we're going to do now. The bottom, the middle, and the top. And when you get to the top, there'll be a pause. Let's see if we can hold this pause for a couple of seconds and then go back down into the 3 lobes. And then the navel squeezes all the air out, and there'll be another pause. An invitation for you to start to get comfortable in these 2 pauses after the in breath and the out breath. This is where a lot of magic happens when we are making reference to pranayama. It's a longer exchange of gases on the physical level. So that means a longer exchange of oxygen into the bloodstream. So we feel more rejuvenated. We have more energy. We have more nourishment. So let's go 3 seconds in the bottom, 3 seconds in the middle, and we'll go 3 seconds on the top with a pause, just a very brief pause, and then we'll go back down. So this is the practice that I'm inviting you to implement into your daily life. When you're ready, when we bring our hands onto the body, it allows more awareness into what we're doing. But if you feel you already have it, bring your hands into a mudra of your choice, any mudra. Okay. I'll count for 3 rounds and then you can count on your own. Ready? Let's begin. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Pause. Exhale. 2, 3. Mid. 2, 3. Bottom. 2, 3. Pause. In. Middle. top, pause, release, middle, bottom, pause, in, middle, top, pause, release, middle, bottom, pause, and count on your own. Three more breaths in this practice together. When you're completed your third round, place your hands in a mudra and just witness how you feel in your mind and body. the practice of the full yogic breath is something that you bring into your life and practice longer than this video. This is just a teaching video. Thank you for your time. Namaste.